I'm live. We're doing it live here. I'm back. Getting out of hermit mode. And wow, there's a lot to update. I was homeless for a while. That was very interesting. Um, so I'm going to be kind of just interviewing myself, I guess, because that's what I do. I just interview myself because not enough people want to interview me. So I told the AI, I asked the AI to just ask me a bunch of questions. I asked the AI to research who I am and to ask me relevant questions. And so I haven't pre-screened these questions or anything. And so we're going to find out if I'm actually smart or not. And so here we go. What's the first question? These are questions the AI came up with, okay? Let's see. I have health questions or just general questions. Let's start with a health question. What role do magnesium, iodine, and trehalose play in long-term health and aging resistance? See, I think it asked that question because it literally researched me and it saw that those were things I've already been talking about. Isn't that cool? So, what role do magnesium, iodine, and trehalose play in long-term health and aging resistance? I think all of those are extremely important. I've taken all of those on and off. I'm pretty regular with I'm most regular with trehalose, and then I supplement iodine and magnesium a little less frequently. Um, but wonder if I can position this so more people can see the TV as like a background. I have some of my videos playing in the background. I thought that'd be cool. How fun! I'm back. I'm back. I'm back as a public presence. How fun. Alright, so wow, we humans just love attention, don't we? We just love the idea that people are watching us. Isn't that fun? I wish that TV. Oh, there it is. All right, I'll just stay here. All right, so magnesium. What do I know about magnesium? Of course, it's very good for the heart. You probably have heard that already. I heard it's very deficient in most people's diets. And, well, magnesium obviously will help keep you regular, and that's important for longevity. You don't want to get backed up and constipated. I have been severely constipated in my life. When I was a teenager, I was so constipated that that was one of the big reasons I went on the fruitarian diet. Because I started to research like constipation remedies, and everyone was saying fruit, 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 fruit. And so I started eating a fruit only diet. And it did help my constipation, but it caused a bunch of other problems. But uh, let's see here. Iodine, we know why that's important. It's good for cancer. It's good for your brain. The brain needs iodine. Like that's really important for thinking. So like people who are deficient in iodine are probably gonna have a lower IQ. I think there's studies and stuff that show that they correlate iodine with IQ, and so very important to get iodine. I get it from seaweed. So most of the time, I don't actually supplement iodine. I just get it from seaweed because I love those seaweed packs. You know, those seaweed packs you find, and they're like, a lot of times they're like roasted in oil, like sesame oil or olive oil or avocado oil. You get those cool seaweed packs. I love those. So I eat a lot of those when I can. And you can put like avocado in them, and they're just delicious. And what else? Trehalose. Trehalose, I attribute Trehalose to curing my migraines. I literally had migraines for years. Horrible migraines that would cause me excruciating pain for like sometimes 2 days at a time. And it would be like nauseous and uh, I couldn't, it was horrible. So I had horrible migraines and I started taking like extremely high doses of this substance called trehalose. And trehalose, if you research it, it's this sugar, and it's a double bonded glucose molecule, and they're using it to remove the plaques out of people's brains who have Alzheimer's. So it's supposed to help remove Alzheimer's plaques. It's supposed to help remove autism plaques. So people who have autism, the plaque develops on their brain similar to the plaque that develops in Alzheimer's. So, geez, it kind of sounds like I'm getting Alzheimer's. I'm trying to make my brain work very good. I've been supplementing with methylene blue lately. Methylene blue. Who's trying methylene blue? You know what? YouTube should just come up with a feature for live streams where it just auto generates AI generated questions for people who are doing a live stream and no one's watching them and it feels like no one's caring. I think it would be cool, at least if there was like an AI, an auto generated AI audience that could ask questions and make it more engaging, you know? Because nowadays you cannot rely, a lot of people don't have an audience, but they might want to go live, and they might want to be interviewed, but no one's showing enough interest in their life or, to ask them questions. So, or even in a live stream, like, wouldn't this be cooler if there was like AI asking cool questions and popping up with various avatars and engaging me? Like, YouTube needs to, they need to go they need to start integrating more AI into live streams, I think. Um, let's ask let's ask a personal motivation and background question. So there's some more questions generated by AI. See, I had to do it myself. AI is asking, what first inspired you to pursue the idea of eternal life so seriously? Okay, well, I was very afraid of death as a kid. Extremely afraid of death. Wow, here's someone showed up. Are you still in contact with people in the longevity field? Aussie girl. Thank you for the question. Thank you. Not many. Not many. I've been very in a hermit mode lately because I was like literally traumatized by homelessness. And so I had to like reset my brain and everything. It's very traumatic. And so I want to reconnect with everyone. And no, right now I'm not really in contact with other people in the longevity movement, other than a few people who are actually working on a documentary about the Eternal Life Fan Club. There's a documentary in the works, and I am in contact with those people, so they're in the longevity movement. But other than that, I don't talk with Aubrey de Grey, and I don't really have conversations with Zoltan Istvan and all these cool people. But I want to, again, I want to reconnect and get more part of the community again. And yeah, even like I stopped like updating a lot of my social media accounts. It was just too much work, especially as a homeless person. When you're homeless, you kind of disconnect from the whole internet. And so you kind of it's like a blackout. You're just totally in a different world. And there's a reintegration process from homelessness to having a home again. There's a period of just like retransitioning, just getting your mental everything, just like feeling like a normal person again. Because when you're homeless, you literally feel like some type of alien on this planet. It's very strange. It's a very strange feeling. If anyone's ever been homeless, say something about your experience with homelessness. It's a problem I want to solve because now that I have a direct experience with being homeless, it's really bad. It's really bad. It's very inhumane the way we're treating these homeless people. It's not right. I think we need to do more to stop homelessness. I mean, come on, like people have to realize that that's not good for society in general, and that if you let the bottom people slip through the cracks and have such a miserable life as a homeless person and endanger their life so much, being homeless is dangerous. Okay, I had personal experience. I was even attacked. Literally, as a homeless person, I was attacked. I woke up, I had my sleeping bag, and then I woke up to find somebody literally breaking open the bottom of my sleeping bag. Another homeless person was ripping open the bottom of my sleeping bag where I had my backpack and all this stuff, all my phone, just to keep it safe at the bottom of my sleeping bag. And this guy was ripping it open, and as soon as he saw that I was awake, he literally had this weapon, this like crowbar billy club thing, and he started swinging it at me, and I literally like had to like dodge his attacks, and it was amazing. Like he was trying to swing at me, and I was traumatized and shocked from that, and luckily I was able to grab a few of my things really quickly and just like I was like my adrenaline took control, and I was just like I just I just got out of there quickly. I just ran as quick as I could. I just had to slip out of the sleeping bag and run across the street. And I think I was shouting and like in fear, and I like screamed, and I was just like in terror. So homelessness is horrible, really bad. Um, do you believe in supplements? Do you believe supplements can significantly extend human lifespan, or are they just supportive tools? I believe in supplementation. I do. I'm not like, you know, just a total whole foods person. I do believe that whole foods should be the most of the majority of our nutrients, but there are very important supplements. Like I was just talking about trehalose. You know, we're very blessed in the modern age to have access to trehalose and other such substances because trehalose is naturally occurring. So a lot of these supplements, they're just concentrates. They're super concentrates of already naturally occurring substances. Like trehalose, you can find it in in insects. It's the blood sugar of insects. So if you eat like crickets or grasshoppers or any of these insects, you're gonna get some trehalose. Or it's even in like crustaceans like shrimp and like lobster because they're kind of like insects, right? So you could get small amounts of this trehalose from eating foods if you eat the right foods, but you're not going to get like as therapeutic of a dose as we can get now because now they're manufacturing trehalose in Japan, and they're just manufacturing it with enzymatic processes. So a lot of this, you don't need to be afraid of supplements. For a while I was afraid. I mean, supplements, you got to know what you're doing, but there's natural forms of supplements because they're just manufactured. Enzymes are creating a lot of these supplements, and bacteria, and they're digesting like various nutrients, and then the bacteria will like spit out another nutrient. So they're just using these bacteria as biological transmuters to create a lot of cool nutrient concentrates. Like I consider trehalose just a nutrient concentrate. And trehalose, I believe that trehalose is going to anti-age. It's anti-aging for the brain. It's anti-aging for the skin, the whole body, because it stabilizes proteins. Oh, I just saw a question I missed. Let me get it. Young Earth creation. Young Earth creation. Yeah, social media is crazy like that. If you don't constantly upload or post, you're forgotten. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is that Matt behind there? Is that Matt's account? My friend Matt has, I think that's the account he is part of, or I don't know. But anyways, um, yeah, uh, it is crazy. You definitely are forgotten, yeah, because there's so much competitor. There's a lot of competition on the internet. So yeah, if you drop off the internet, you're like you're gone for a while. Like you have to get your presence back. You have to get people reminded that you're even alive. So I'm alive. Thank goodness. I survived homelessness. It feels so good to have a house. It really makes you appreciate the simple things like having a house and a shower and food. And yeah, it's a big health risk being homeless. I watch little clips here and there of Devin Tracy, but honestly, I have not much because my attention has been split in so many areas, just survival. I'm so much focused on health content these days. Like I don't have much time for political content. Although political content is health content, so I need to watch more of Devin Tracy just to get updated with all the political stuff. But yeah, political content is health content because if our political system goes haywire, that results in deaths. So Devin Tracy and what he's doing is directly trying to help all of our lives. He's trying to help us live forever by what he does. So thank you, Devin. And that's why I'm promoting him, promoting his shirt. Fear the Roo. Yes, Devin Tracy is a powerful force. He deserves to be feared. And yeah, I gotta talk with him again. Got to do more interviews. He reached out and interviewed me not too long ago, and that was fun. He was talking about the Smurfs and all this fun stuff. He really makes interviews fun. He's a fun character. He's so cool, and I love how confident he is. He's so confident in what he says. He's very bold. You know, he goes out there on a limb and really just speaks his heart. And that's really, it takes a lot of courage to do that, and he suffered for it, gotten so much censorship. And I've got a taste of censorship myself, and it's not fun. And these social media companies, we need to hold them responsible. We need to collectively punish the social media companies that are overly censoring people, like Devin Tracy getting kicked off all these platforms, and every time you get a strike for a video that never deserved a strike, it really is painful, and you get such a sense of disrespect. Like these social media companies are just like they don't care about us. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. They don't. They're just using us for their like a tool. It's horrible. How does one deal with the lack of meaning in one's life? Oh, that is a great question. I've been watching a lot of videos by Britt Hartley, and she has a channel called No Nonsense Spirituality, where it's all about how to deal with nihilism and how to deal with the void. Because if you are an atheist or you're flirting with atheism or you're agnostic even, you might, or, probably even a lot of people who believe in God find this life so horrible. We need coping strategies. So her whole channel, no nonsense spirituality, is all about that. Like how all the different, we need ritual. We need to create the meaning. Well, the meaning is we should all have a meaning because we're alive, and as long as you're alive, you can live forever. And the meaning I derive from life is that I can help myself live forever and I can help other people live forever. Because if we don't live forever, then that's what makes life meaningless. And If we do live forever, then life is filled with meaning. So I would say if you're struggling with lack of meaning, then you need to be more hopeful that living forever is possible. Because once you believe that living forever is possible, there's your meaning, okay? The meaning is to live forever. That is the meaning. Because, and then, from there, you just, like, life is fun. Hey, there's your meaning. The meaning is it's fun to be alive. And so let's help each other live forever. That's my meaning. That's how I get meaning. So that's my advice is like, yes, I'm going to stream more now. I was in hermit mode because but I'm going to get back into streaming more, and it's good for my mental health. I don't have much friends in real life, and this is going to help me. It's going to help me just talk, get used to talking, because when you don't have friends in real life, you're not like socializing a lot. Your ability to talk well actually might be hindered because, practice makes perfect. And if you stop talking, if you stop actually vocalizing your thoughts and you're just living in these thought loops, then you could potentially just like get less good at talking. And I don't want to get less good at talking. Like, I want to get better at talking, which is why I want to do more live streams so I can practice talking better. So I recommend everyone live stream just to practice talking, especially if you don't have a social life, you know? And this is my social life now. And this is awesome. Wow. It does feel good. It's a dopamine rush. Like I said, it's fun to feel like there's an observer to your reality. Because if you're just all alone in your room all day, that's not good. I mean, there's maybe a time and place for that. Hermit mode, there's a time and place, but there's a time and place for like, being a public presence and having observers to your reality. It like shapes you. Like, I feel like I'm being shaped and molded in real time, right? Just by this conversation and talking, because like literally neurons are being fired and neural networks are being created. So like this is how we create ourselves, is we say things publicly, and that makes it more real. Because if it's just spinning around in our head, it's like it's in the vapor. It's like in the ether somewhere, and it's not fully formulated your personality. But when we talk out loud, we literally speak ourselves into existence in a weird way. Like we speak our personality into existence. I'm shaping literally like the perception of who Rowan is right now. Like my identity. Like this is shaping it for everyone else, but also myself. It's a very interesting thing. So yeah, I do want to stream more, and it's fun, and I look forward to like when these streaming platforms like do what they obviously should do. Like where's the AI avatars here? When people feel like they don't have enough engagement with their live stream, AI should pick up the slack. AI should pick up the slack and engage us and ask questions and all this, but you guys are doing a good job. Thank you for your questions. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Young Earth Creation, for being here. Thank you, Aussie Girl, for asking your question. Thank you for the engagement. I appreciate it. But if one's trajectory is only negativity, and this is eternal, is it worth it? Well, if one's trajectory is only negativity, then yeah, it's still worth it, because your negativity could, I don't want to infer that it's you you're talking about, but someone's negativity could be flipped around, right? Negativity could be turned into positivity. There's ups and downs, there's good days, there's bad days, and hopefully in the future we'll create a utopia where every day is a good day. Imagine that. Eternal utopia, paradise, nirvana. Nirvana, that could be coming quicker than you think. Now with AI, this is the coolest thing about AI I've seen so far. Now they literally have it so you could prompt AI to literally create not just images and videos, but video games. virtual worlds based on your prompts. So you can prompt a virtual world and then navigate in your virtual world. And it won't be long now until you put on a headset, you know, and then you're prompting AI and you're literally prompting out your virtual world in real time. So you could prompt out weird alien worlds and all these cool experiences, and you're just in your little dream world in your AI headset. That's so soon. You guys, that is so soon. We're almost to the holodeck. We're almost to the Star Trek. You got to be optimistic. So, negativity, like there's just no time for that. Look, I dwell in negativity all the time. I feel like part of me, maybe part of me is very depressed and part of me is happy and it goes back and forth, kind of bipolar. And I think that's natural and normal. I think a lot of us have a split personality to that extent. We have a positive side and a negative side, and we're always battling. We just got to make sure the positive side wins so that the negative side, we can't let the negative side win. We have to be more positive than negative. As bad as life gets sometimes, and as horrible as this life is, it's still awesome, right? It's still awesome just to be alive because there's still fun things to do. And there's still more goals to be set. And, if you're not married, well, there's the whole adventure of marriage. There's something to look forward to, so, or, I don't see how anyone who's married could be unhappy. I mean, well, that would be awesome to be married. You think that would have a lot of, you think people would get a lot of joy from that. Well, they do. And so maybe if you're unhappy, maybe it's just because you haven't found your eternal love yet, Work on getting married and then you'll be happy, hopefully. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm working on it myself. Loneliness, that's what makes life suck, right? Eternal loneliness. Forever alone. That's not fun. Because the assumption is that eternal life will allow us to have positive meaning. Positive meaning, yes. Yes, yes, we have positive meaning. I mean, just like you can go to YouTube and just like, well, that doesn't create happiness. That's just like fleeting dopamine a lot of times, just scrolling on social media. And there's endless, we're information overload. We're in the day of information overload where AI and everything and all these people are producing content faster than we can digest it. And so, but it's just going to get better, okay? It's going to get better, people. The grass is greener in the future. Utopia is coming. If you really think your identity is fragile, that the outside world influences the way you act. Okay. Do you really think your identity is fragile, that the outside influences the way you act? Identity. Yeah, Britt Hartley often talks about identity and like that our identity is just kind of this fake made up thing. And Jim Carrey talks about that too. He was a kind of speaking as if he's a nihilist. He would go to events and say, "Oh, this is meaningless." Jim Carrey had this phase where he was just like, "Everything's meaningless. What are you doing? All this bull crap." And I saw his point, but he was just missing the larger point, which is that we don't have to embrace nihilism as long as we have hope that living forever is possible. There's no reason you cannot logically, there's too much meaning in the possibility of living forever, and just because it's possible, that's their meaning. So nihilism it doesn't add up. Yes, I've seen this. I stay up to date on the latest LLM changes. Google's banana model is going to put game developers and animators out of business. Yeah, yeah. And have you guys seen the AI generated music videos now? And it's just, wow, we're in a different world. This is so exciting. I would think every transhumanist would be flabbergasted and extremely excited. The problem is we as humans, we can become very just we get used to stuff so fast, and then it loses its excitement. Like I was so excited with just AI generated images, and then that losses it's like now we just always need more, and that's the way it should be. We always want more. Whatever we have a different hedonic set point, and then we just want more. And then once our life's really good, we just want more. And then, it's like, and then when you have a really crappy life, just the very simple things because you have your hedonic set point is set differently. So it's like, just like there's people in Africa right now who are just playing with a stick and they're just having great fun because that's their hedonic set point. They have so much fun just playing with a stick, because they don't have all these other fun things to do. So that's what, you know, yeah, the hedonic set point is something that's a fun thing to learn about. Deals a lot with dopamine and all that. I'm pretty sure this is a temperament thing. I want to answer another health question. You guys have any health questions? Because I really want this to be super practical for people who are trying to extend their life and maybe the life of their family, a loved one who's old. How many people have an old loved one, a parent, that they're trying to save their life literally? And so all that pressure and stress must be on those people. I feel the pressure. I feel the stress. I want my parents to live forever. And so the clock is ticking. Your biological clock is ticking, and that is motivation to try harder. That's what's motivating this right now. Because if I just stay in my room and I don't talk to people, if I don't talk to people and network, how am I going to how am I going to help the cause of ending aging? Like, I'm more effective if I show myself and have conversations, because somebody out there could be watching this and they could give me an important piece of information, and then I build on that information, and then some scientist hears about it because maybe I'm talking with some scientists later. And just the more we network, the more we talk, and the more we ask AI questions, and the more we can deconstruct this entire reality and figure out how to live forever and not die, how to end death, how to literally end death, because it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. We're living in a nightmare. We're living in a Holocaust nightmare situation. You know it. You know it. I know it. What's the next health question is, how can people avoid nutritional deficiencies that accelerate aging? Well, go to a health food store and buy a bunch of variety of produce and eat it. Produce, raw food, juicing. Okay, today I had juice. I had raw vegetable juice. I juiced cucumbers. I juiced tomatoes. I juiced what else did I juice? I juiced cucumbers, tomatoes, radishes, and why can't I remember? Cucumbers, tomatoes, radishes, and cabbage. And what else? I put a little clay in there. I heard you're supposed to put a little clay in your juice to absorb the natural plant toxins. I got that tip from Augenis Vonderplanitz, who did the primal diet. And unfortunately, that guy supposedly died by falling off some balcony in Thailand. It was very horrible, a horrible death. That's sad. And yeah, I wish Agnes van der Planets was still here. Who knows who Agnes van der Planets is? He did a lot the um, to help the raw milk movement. Raw milk. I hope you guys are drinking some raw milk if you can get it. You're very lucky if you can find raw milk. It's so healthy. It's so good for you. Raw milk, believe it or not, is supposedly how a lot of the people who survived the bubonic plague, the milkmaids in the time of the bubonic plague were drinking raw milk, and the raw milk carried the antibodies. It was a natural vaccine to the plague. And so the milkmaids who were drinking the raw milk, they were the ones that supposedly survived the plague. So, if there's another COVID or whatever, drink raw milk and forget the vaccine. Oop, shouldn't even said that. Crap. Now they're gonna flag this whole thing. Hope not. Gosh dang it. See, that's the level of censorship. They cause us to censor ourselves. They're censoring. They're over censoring. They cause us to censor ourselves, and that's their whole plan. They're evil for censoring important information. Like, what the heck? Gosh, like, I can't speak my mind. We really got to punish these social media companies that censor us. You still have fixed preferences. People don't change that easily when we are talking about identity. Do you ever look at the divorce rates and the fact that women here in the USA are interested in money and not interested in giving back? Aren't they? Well, you can't generalize too much. I know that is a problem. Of course, there's the gold diggers, but there's also really awesome women out there. Like my beloved. She's awesome. She's not no gold digger. So, we can't generalize too much. And just, find a good one. Find a good one. Yeah, women are total givers, They're definitely interested in giving back. So, you still have fixed preferences. Oh, you should check out C.B. Robertson. C.B. Robertson interviewing Gennady Stolyarov II on transhumanism. It was high-level intellect exchange. Okay, thank you, Ian. I'm going to check that out. That is awesome. Thank you for recommending that. I'm going to check that out for sure. Heck yeah. In fact, I'm going to take a picture of it right now, just so I can remember to check it out. I'm taking a picture of that. Here we go. Oh. Okay. I got a picture of that. And what's the next question? Health question. Is it possible? Okay, we covered nutritional deficiencies. You know what? Soup is another good thing. Soup is a great invention because soup, you could just throw so many cool vegetables in there. Learn how to make soups and try to increase the variety of ingredients you add to your soups. Think about how many spices and spice mixtures and cool little herbs and all this variation of vegetables you could throw in your soup. And you get like 50 different vegetables and herbs at one time. Okay? Soup is a way underestimated superfood. And juicing. Same thing. Do a juice mix. I mean, get variety in your diet. That'll prevent deficiencies. Variety. The spice of life. Juice mixtures. Smoothies. Superfood smoothies. Elixirs. Herbal concoctions, get into Chinese medicine, get into Chinese herbs, get into astragalus. Astragalus, that's an herb I take, and that's good for your telomeres. It's a Chinese herb, look into that. Get into like Rehmannia, great herb. Get into a lot of these Chinese herbs that are considered adaptogens, and then make a big adaptogen herbal tea. throw that into your smoothies. So your smoothies are more medicinal. They're not just a smoothie. All of a sudden, you're eating an herbal longevity concoction because it's not just fruit and smooth and stuff like that, but it's more medicinal stuff that are going to kill the infections in your body and, feed your organs really life force and longevity. Like we got to do more than just the typical things. We got to be like, are you getting medicinal mushrooms in your diet? You know, are you getting seaweed in your diet? Are you getting some cool nuts and seeds? Here's a cool product. There's a product called Nutso. Nutso. I think you could find it at Costco, and it's this mixture of like 7 different nut and seeds all blended in. And that product is great because it's got a variety. You're getting more nutrients than just one nut and seed or something. You're getting lots of different variety. And berry mixtures, get some frozen berry mixes and make smoothies and all of that. And just, go to the produce section and ask your intuition. And what I do is I go to the produce section and then I start speaking in tongues. And I would do this whether I believed in God or not. It's not even a God thing. It's like you speak in tongues because you're opening up your subconscious when you do that. And it's like helps your intuition to decide what to eat and this and that. What does your body actually need? And you just walk down the produce aisle as you're speaking in tongues, and maybe you'll get an idea of what stands out. Do I need more tomatoes in my diet? Do I need a pear? Do I need a plum? Like, what is it? And always ask your intuition, ask your inner intelligence, what do you need to eat for your health? What do you need? What deficiencies might you have? Maybe you need more enzymatic fruits. Maybe you need some pineapple in your diet because of the enzymes, the kiwis, enzyme-rich foods to break down all that plaque in your arteries. Papaya, enzymes to break down the plaque. Okay. I'm going on just tangents. All right, okay. I'm going to go, what else? Okay. Ignorance is bliss, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know if this is a virtue or something we should be recommending. You know what? Ignorance, it might be bliss, but it could lead to your death. So I've said stuff like that before. Like, no, yeah, it might be very blissful, but a lot of people are blissed out as they're walking off the cliff like lemmings to their death. Think about it. The opium of the masses, as they say. And what's removing people's fear of death as they walk off the cliff to their death? It's this overconfidence that there's an afterlife. A lot of these religious mentalities where people literally lose their fear of death because they think, oh, God's got me, I'm covered, it's all good, and then they die. And then they might have ceased to exist forever. And retarded. I'm fairly certain my dad will die sometime this year. Oh no. Well, be optimistic and try to prophesy something positive. Try to prophesy that he won't die. Give him some advice. Even like have the AI generate some cool health longevity, advice for him and give it to him. Say, hey, you willing to try any of this stuff? I don't know. Just an idea. But don't give up on people, even if they've given up on themselves. I know it's sad when a loved one or a family member is not as interested in living forever as they should be. And it's like face palm. And then it's like we have to be their parents. We have to be the parents for the people who are not smart enough to understand that living forever is possible. And that they could live forever if they just try hard enough. What are your thoughts on Dr. Sean Baker, who promotes the carnivore diet for living forever? Wow, does he actually promote it in the context of living forever? I know about Sean Baker and his carnivore diet. I have looked into it. I'm not a fan of the carnivore diet. I don't believe in it. I believe plants are too beneficial because I'm more of a Rhonda Patrick person when it comes to nutrition. You know, that plant hormesis that she talks about, the plant chemicals that are they're toxic, yes. Okay, yes, the carnivore people understand that. Yes, plants are toxic. Oh, okay, that's not news. Yes, plants create all kinds of toxic alkaloids and toxic chemicals, but those chemicals end up being the very thing that pushes the buttons in our bodies and flips the epigenetic switches that activate longevity pathways that extend our life. So I feel like eating the carnivore diet, eating a meat only diet or whatever, it's just making your body lazy. Okay? It's literally just like it's taking away all those plant toxic pressures that actually increase our health because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So yes, there might be less of those type. There's not those toxins in the meat, but there's other forms and variations of toxins in meat. It's not like meat is just plant toxins are important. Okay, plant toxins are very important for longevity. Um, but I didn't know he was talking about living forever. Does just Sean Baker is Sean Baker a fan of eternal life? That would be cool. Um, Now there might be a phase you need to go through if you have, if you have a certain issue or a health complication, there might be a phase that you might need to eliminate plants for a while. I could potentially see that maybe there's a time and place for the carnivore diet in a therapeutic sense, but not long term. Not long term. It would just be like it would just only be like a short period of time until your body can fix the issue and then you can handle plants again. If you're going long-term carnivore, that seems very ill-advised. Very ill-advised. I would not do that. Um, and meat has all kinds of its own issues. Meat is filled with heme iron, and heme iron is supposedly very detrimental for guys because they can accumulate way too much iron in their blood, and that's a free radical, and it rusts your blood and it ages you. And not to mention that a lot of these people are cooking their meat, and that adds all types of other toxins to the meat, and you're oxidizing the cholesterol. And so if I was going to do meat, I would do more of the primal diet thing. I would do more of the raw meat, but it would be like fermented to kill the parasites. You don't want parasites, but I would do like a fermented meat, you know? I would do like a pickled fish or something. I do fish myself. I'm not vegetarian. I do anchovies. There's anchovies in my kimchi. There's I do sardines, But I do sushi, but I want to get into raw sardines. I don't know if I want to be eating cooked sardines in the long run. I want to find like sushi grade sardine that's raw if I could, and then maybe even pickled sardines rather than cooked sardines that are canned. Pickled stuff that's raw is probably way superior than the canned cooked meat. So that's something I want to upgrade in my own diet. Because I do still eat sardines occasionally, from the canned sardines, but I'm not sure that's ideal. But I want to do pickled fish and stuff. What was the number one thing you did for your longevity while homeless? I was doing a lot of urine therapy, and I think that helped my immune system a lot. And that's probably shocking to a lot of people, but urine therapy is a very valid therapy. It's very ancient. It's written in all kinds of traditional ancient scriptures, especially like in India and stuff. Like it's a very ancient healing practice, and it is supposed to increase your immune system. So that's definitely something I was doing, and I was able to eat pretty freaking gosh darn healthy. Not I My diet was compromised severely. That is true as a homeless person. But I was able to eat pretty freaking healthy because I was a very good beggar. I'd go in front of health food stores. I would even like get raw milk, even as a homeless person. I would go in front of Sprouts and I'd be, well, actually, I wasn't begging in front of Sprouts, but I would shop at Sprouts. But I would go to different grocery stores and I would beg in front of the grocery stores and I would have people like buy me groceries and fruits and berries. And I was eating lots of healthy food. So, um, yeah, I was keeping my immune system strong with berries. I would always be like, you know, can you help me get some food? I'm homeless. And either they would give me, a lot of times they would say no, but sometimes they would say yes. They would give me some money that I could go buy food with, and I'd buy healthy food, berries and kombucha. And I was drinking, I was eating like a health food nut, even as a homeless person, to be honest. But I was probably eating like the healthiest homeless person ever, you know. Probably, there's probably no homeless person that was eating healthier than me. I was probably eating healthy. I was definitely eating healthier than probably even the people who weren't homeless, just because of how much produce I was eating and stuff. Sometimes I would have more than I needed, and I would have to give it away to other homeless people. I was doing that all the time, anyways. I was always trying to share the goods. I did manage to meet up with some other cool homeless people, and you do have really cool homeless experiences. You learn some stuff, and you get street smarts. So now I can say I got some homeless street smarts, like how to survive it all and how to. It's chaotic and crazy, but if you don't die from it, you probably will become out a smarter person for it. I feel smarter now. Rowan, are you a Libra? Asked by Ian. I am not a Libra. I'm a Leo. August 14th, 1987. That's my birthday. So I'm a Leo. About 30 of the C.B. Robinson's video is me bugging him on philosophy political questions. About 30 of C.B. Robinson's video is me bugging him on philosophy political. Okay, C.B. Robinson's. Okay, yeah, he's the guy he was the guy who interviewed Gennady, right? Or they were talking together. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know who that guy is, so I gotta research that more. Um, would you ever debate Dr. Sean Baker on health? Of course. Of course. I debated Vegan Gains on health, and that was fun. So I'm always down for a debate. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, I should have a debate on the carnivore diet. One of my aunts is on the carnivore diet, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it's healthy for longevity. No. So yeah, I definitely gonna debate them. Why not? When I do sushi, sometimes I get food poisoning. Beware. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, you got to be careful. Um, I have a crazy raw fish story. It just shows that in the past I was really crazy. I was eating raw fish. So one time I was eating raw tilapia. And literally, as I'm eating this raw tilapia, I see a worm spiraled up. And it literally was moving. It was a living worm. And it formed this perfect spiral. It was so weird. It was like this. It's so crazy. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, how many of these did I just eat? How many of these worms and parasite eggs have I eaten? I might have a worm in my intestines right now that's like 10 years old or 15 years old, just giant worm in me from when I was eating raw fish. I've eaten a lot of crazy stuff. I used to eat raw fish eyeballs when I was in Hawaii. I would literally eat raw fish eyeballs. I'd just pop my mouth and eat them like a berry. Crazy stuff. Like, who knows? There could have been parasites in those fish eyeballs. I might have parasites right now. I might have parasites in my brain or my liver or different organs. Who knows? Uh, I gotta kill these parasites. Dang it. How do I kill the parasites without harming the good ones? Because there's good parasites in us too, right? There's good healthy bacteria. So if you just kill all the parasites, if you just nuke all the parasites in your body, you might be killing the good ones too. Hmm. Uh-oh. So I do a lot of garlic though. I've taken so much garlic. Hopefully that's killed the bad parasites in me. Raw garlic. I want to do your horoscope since I've been into astrology the last 7 years. Let me know your time of birth too. Ooh, horoscopes. Time of birth. No, I wish I knew my time of birth. I don't know. But be careful with the horoscope stuff and astrology stuff because I heard that it can be a form of cold reading and it can trap people into false prophecies of their own future. So it can be like if somebody buys into it too much, especially negative predictions based upon a horoscope or based upon astrology, if you buy into the negative predictions of whatever supposedly is going to go wrong because I'm such and such of a, some astrological sign, and then they say, well, this and this and this, that might be cold reading. And Darren Brown talks about that. He's a magician, he's a great magician, illusionist, and he uses cold reading, which is the process of just saying things that would generally apply to everyone and making it feel like it's personalized to you specifically, but it generally applies across the board and it just tricks your mind into thinking that they know something about you or they're able to fortune tell, but it's just a form of cold reading. Hope I explained that well enough, but it can be very dangerous though, because if people buy into those negative prophecies, if you talk to some astrologer and they're telling you, oh, guess what's going to happen? This such and such negative thing and this and that. And then you buy into it, you might end up believing it too much. And then the placebo effect would start to take hold, or in this case, the nocebo effect, the opposite of the placebo effect, where it's actually a bad thing. You end up believing the bad prediction. You end up believing the bad prophecy that's been cast over your life. And it could become a self-fulfilling prophecy. It could become you actually might manifest a negative outcome because you bought into the story. You bought into the story that the fortune teller or the astrologer was telling you, and then you get let off a cliff. So just be careful. Be careful about what stories you believe when it comes to that. Okay, what's another health question? Is it possible to design a supplement regime that sustains human health indefinitely? Well, that's what I'm working on, but I don't think it's just going to be a supplement regime. I think it's going to be more of it's going to be the full kit and caboodle, the full kitchen sink of everything we can do, all the biohacking tools people are doing. It's going to be like, it's going to be an intensive, full lifestyle approach. Something like Brian Johnson. You guys know Brian Johnson. Something like that, where it's like it's your whole lifestyle. Like me, I'm trying to do my whole lifestyle designed for longevity, like, and so that's what's going to help. Not just like some supplements. It's going to be more a multifaceted approach, I think. Aubrey de Grey says the same thing. It's like there's going to be this rejuvenation combination of therapies, and you're just going to need to redo that therapy and redo it and redo it and add on it and adjust to it and integrate personalized medicine. And that's where I'm lacking. I don't have enough. I'm not tested, enough. Like Brian Johnson, he's awesome because he's getting himself tested in all kinds of cool ways. He's getting to see what's in his blood and deficiencies and this and that and testing every organ. And I love that concept. I'm in love with the concept of personalized medicine. And that's what we need. Personalized medicine and AI personalized medicine, where AI can start to analyze everything and be your doctor better than any doctor. Once we get AI that can totally analyze us and test us and then give the right meal plans and the right protocol specifically to what we need, because it sees, okay, well, this is lacking here and you have too much that and this and that. I think that's going to be very helpful, and that's going to be huge. So we just got to make it more affordable to people who don't have the money that Brian Johnson has, to be tested in all these ways. I can't afford that. I don't know how to get tested. I don't have the money for that right now. And so my blood tested and nutritional deficiencies, and I want that. So we just got to make that more available to everyone, Elizabeth Holmes was another lady that was a lady that was really trying to help the world by making blood tests very affordable, cheap, and less intrusive. So you could test more things on less blood. You just take a little sample and you could see all your nutrient deficiencies and what you need. And that's what we need. Yeah. People have free will. I'm aware of the criticisms of astrology. The method I use is just playing with word correspondences, so it is not 100%, but gives you a rough idea of what to expect. Oh, okay. Well, that sounds maybe a version of astrology. Interesting. Interesting. Can you do my astrology without having to know my time of birth, or is just the date good enough? August 14th, 1987. Is that enough? You really need to know the exact time I was born for real? Wow. I plan to have AI do this for me. I just need enough examples for it to look over. The more data, the better. Hey, Ian, do you have a YouTube channel? Are you a public persona on YouTube? You do video blogs or anything? You talk about stuff? I'd be down to check it out. Let's see here. What is this? Is it possible to design a supplement? Okay. What are the most preventable diseases threatening human longevity today? Well, every disease is preventable. Every disease is curable. I don't know about if every disease is preventable, but every disease is at least curable. Once you find out you have it, you cure it. I believe. I don't believe in incurable diseases. So preventable diseases, like all of them. For instance, how many people, like, heart disease is like one of the number one killers, and heart disease is killing like, I think 30% of all deaths are heart disease, and that's totally preventable. Most people are deficient in magnesium, and magnesium, just that alone, will drastically reduce your chances of getting heart disease, because heart disease is oftentimes caused by calcification of the arteries, and it's just too much calcium and not enough magnesium, not enough sulfur. Sulfur. Here's another important nutrient. Sulfur. MSM. There's a supplement called MSM, methyl sulfonyl methane. That supplement, that's powerful because it descales things. Like the calcium scale that gets on the arteries, the plaques. Sulfur goes in there and it breaks up all that calcium. slowly and it helps it dissolve, and so it cleans your arteries. MSM, you guys, if you're listening to this, if anyone's listening to this and into longevity, seriously look into MSM. Seriously consider taking it, and even higher doses, mega dosing MSM, because I've taken lots of it over the years. I've mega dosed, like, and I believe that's one of the best things I've ever done for my health. And so I think if I were to get my coronary calcium artery score done, I think I'd be very good. I don't think I have clogging of the arteries because of everything I'm doing. Also, to prevent heart disease, you also want citric acid, like fruit acids. So a lot of berries, lemons, limes, things like that. That'll help remove the calcium out of your arteries and your brain. Most of these diseases are actually diseases of calcification, and you can look into the theory of nanobacteria, and the theory I'm highly, highly considering is correct, because this theory of nanobacteria, it's saying there's little bacteria that are in our arteries, and they're creating little barnacle coral reefs because they create little shells around them like an oyster, and they just build up and they build up and they start replicating exponentially, and then that's what causes heart disease. Is they clog our arteries. Literally, it's an infection of these microscopic bacteria that create little shells, and those shells need to be dissolved with acid, and they need to be dissolved with sulfur, and they need to be destroyed with garlic. That combination, sulfur in the form of MSM, high amounts of fruit acids, and garlic. That combination would not just prevent heart disease, but I think it would cure many diseases, because so many diseases are just a problem of overcalcification. And a lot of that I got from David Wolfe, helped me on those points, because David Wolfe talks about diseases of calcification, and he really is into the nanobacteria theory of disease as well. And I'm a big fan of that. Big fan of David Wolfe as well. Another person to check out. Yeah, another person to check out for sure. He's helped me a lot. When I was very underweight as a fruitarian, because I was listening to David Wolfe's cousin, R.C. Denny, and R.C. Denny was promoting the fruitarian diet, and it was David Wolfe. So the fruitarian diet was too extreme. Like, it was a good cleansing diet, but it was too extreme. It destroyed my teeth and everything. My teeth are still totally damaged. I have abscesses in my mouth now. I have a hole in my jaw right here. Like, I have like really bad teeth problems, and it's because of that fruitarian diet. But David Wolfe, his book, The Sun Food Diet Success System, that was just way more of a balanced type of raw food diet, and that helped me a lot. It helped me integrate all kinds of foods that I wasn't eating. Like, yeah, that was way more balanced. So, um, I've watched so many of his lectures and learned a lot from that guy. Dude, David Wolfe is smart. I met him in person too. He actually wants to live 3,000 years old. He said his stated goal of living is to live 3,000 years. And that's just the start. I got him to say, well, hey, once you get to 3,000, right? That's just the start, and you could get further than that. And he's like, yeah, yeah, of course, that's just my start. And so, um, I believe he'll be living forever. I think so. All these health gurus, we got to come together and like meld minds and actually figure out how to fix these problems for real. The more we can brainstorm together, we can form masterminds. We can form a mastermind think tank. That's what we need. We need Brian Johnson. We need David Wolfe. We need Rhonda Patrick. We need myself. We need all these people talking together. We're so lacking in nutritional health longevity guru mastermind think tanks. Why aren't these health gurus need to be talking to each other. You know, Dave Asprey, he belongs in the think tank. You know, he's a smart guy. Um, yeah, I'm so much a fan of people who are serious about this stuff. Okay. Um, People have free will. I'm aware of the criticisms of astrology. The method I use is just playing with word correspondences, so it is not 100%, but gives you a rough idea of. Okay, I already read that. I plan to have to do this. I plan to have AI do this for. Oh, I read that too. You can study a chart without knowing the time of birth. Lots of astrologers handicap themselves because of the house system, but that is BS. It's like a puzzle. It's very fun to do. Would you be open to talk to CB Robertson regarding health and transhumanism? Yeah, I don't even know who he is, but you know what? I'm down to talk to anyone pretty much. I am very open into talking to people. I want to expand my list of people I've interviewed and talked with online. I've had many good conversations online. I want to get back into that. I want to do much more of that. Much more talking with people. Yeah. Gotta do more brainstorming. Gotta just get smarter. I'm like literally just trying to get smarter as fast as I can. I'm like literally using AI just to help me get smarter and watching health videos. A lot of my day is just watching health videos, just trying to make sure I'm up to date on everything. I don't want to fall behind on the latest and greatest cutting edge stuff. What are the biggest lifestyle risks people underestimate that shorten life? That's a good question. Um, Lifestyle risks. Well, um, definitely the obvious things like smoking normal cigarettes that have 4,000 different additives that scar your arteries and clog your brain and everything. That's horrible and destroy your lungs. Like, so beyond those basic things, but you know, there's also like natural cigarettes too. So I'm not just trying to bash nicotine. I'm not just trying to bash tobacco because I believe there's a place for tobacco in the diet because it is a natural herbal medicine. Tobacco, nicotine. Dave Asprey loves nicotine. I want to get more into trying to do nicotine microdosing and stuff like Dave Asprey does. I want to try that more. I've tried cigars, and I liked the effect, and I liked that you didn't inhale. So it was cool trying, natural tobacco cigars, and I think there's a time and place for that because tobacco is very anti-parasitic, and you know, but don't overdo it because I heard if you do too much cigars, you get mouth cancer or something. So, but we just got to be careful. What else here? Okay. Oh, I didn't answer that question very good. Lifestyle risks. What are the lifestyle risks? Well, you know what? One of the biggest lifestyle risks is dangerous things like flying on a plane. I know, seriously. Most people think I'm crazy for saying that, but no, flying on a plane. Why play Russian roulette with yourself? You know, those planes could go down, and then you're screwed. Or what about drinking tap water? There was a few times I had to compromise on my water a lot as a homeless person, and that sucked. That sucked. It sucks having to drink out of a drinking fountain. You know? But, kind of want to eat one of these peaches. I'll wait till after the live stream. I've been drawing cool robots. Look at this. There's a robot I drew. I love drawing robots, and then I love running it through the AI image to video generators, and then they'll make my robots move. Literally, I could show you guys later. It's so cool, moving robots. Um, what else? People, I mean, just any risky stuff. You know, people are such daredevils. Here's a lifestyle risk that people do. How about like fighting, getting punched in the head, or anything that could do a traumatic brain injury, right? I think I've had at least one traumatic brain injury in my life because I had a very severe concussion, slammed my head into a metal bar, a metal pole. I think that gave me a form of brain damage, and that's not good. So, you know, um, just stay safe, you know, and whenever your inner intelligence is warning you about something, your inner listen to that voice. Listen to that voice of your intuition, your inner intelligence warning you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Probably shouldn't do that. Listen to it. Listen to it. You're smarter than you think. Your inner intelligence, if your goal is set on survival, if your goal is literally set on living forever, and if you've made that your goal, then your inner intelligence is going to help manifest that goal. But you got to listen to it, and you got to work with it. Yeah, be smart. Lifestyle risks, junky food, obviously, fast food. There was a time I was eating some In-N-Out burger French fries, and I was making the exception for that because supposedly some of the healthier French fries out there in terms of like fast food French fries, because they fry in like sunflower seed oil. So at least they're not using like canola oil, and they use real potatoes and like fresh potatoes and everything. So I was like, well, it's just potatoes and sunflower oil. How bad could it be? But you know, I don't know. We just got to be extra careful. Always be safe. My brain's starting to get tired now. Might need to reboot my brain with some food, some energy, and maybe I'll be back later. I don't know, maybe not. But I don't want this to go too much longer. I'm gonna end it in. I'm gonna end it soon. Maybe I'll just answer a few more health questions. It's probably good not to make these too long as well, because if I make them too long, probably nobody would want to go watch these things. And I want people to watch these. I don't want them to be like 10 hours long so nobody watches them. Do you believe telomere shortening can be safely reversed? And if so, how? Yes. Well, Brian Johnson claims to have reversed his telomere damaging, Brian Johnson claims to have reversed his telomere shortening a lot with stuff he's doing. But I've heard that astragalus is my go-to when it comes to telomere health. Astragalus is known to help prevent the shortening of the telomeres. So make sure you look into astragalus and consume astragalus and feed it to your parents. Like me, I'm going to feed my parents astragalus tonight. And I fed it to them a while ago. I'm going to feed it to them more often, though. I got to feed them more astragalus because, yeah, astragalus for the telomeres, for real. I got to look into more what Brian Johnson's telomere strategy is, because I know he has one. But here's the message, is that we are already in the day and age where living forever is possible. And AI should make everyone super excited that the cure for every disease could be just around the corner. So hang in there. Longevity, escape velocity. You know, that's where we're at. We're in the time. This is the season of living forever. All right? Don't lose hope. Can the human brain be maintained indefinitely without memory decline? I believe that I've integrated, here's what's helped my brain a lot. I've integrated a lot of memory techniques into my brain. I have a lot of memory techniques now that I wasn't using before. And so the more I remember, the more I get smarter, because the more you remember, the more you can compare and contrast all this different competing information that we're being flooded with. So memory is extremely important. So look into memory techniques. Look into, using acronyms for memory, these little memory techniques, and using totems, little things that can remind you of other things. Make symbols, add symbols to your life that remind you of things. And that will help your memory, so that when I see the blue pen, I'll be reminded, oh yeah, of course, I need to eat blueberries. Duh. So you just do things that reminds you to do healthy things, you know? And so anyone can do that. Anyone can do that. Create more totems. Look into the Native American totem pole and then look into why they did that. They were looking at the totem pole, and each little thing, they were like, oh, I see the lion face. That means I have to do that. Or it reminds them of a certain spiritual thing or something. And then they go, okay, I see the tiger. Oh, that reminds me I have to, you know, say hi to my parents or whatever. And then they say, okay, now I see the the eagle. Oh, that means I should have the bird's eye view. I got to go and look at everything. I can't just have the myopic focus. I have to see the full bird's eye view before I make the decision. So their totem pole was all about a memory technique that would remind them of important things. And it wasn't just the Native Americans. All throughout the world, cultures have memory techniques, songs that have been passed down, poems, rhyming. Rhyming is a memory technique. When things rhyme, words themselves, the more you can break down a word to what is the word, why, the etymology of a word, that helps you remember things. The more you zoom into something, the more you're going to remember it. Emotional memory techniques, where you attach something to an emotion, so that emotion drives it into your consciousness more and it burns it into your brain more. Like there's a reason we remember the traumatic movies. Well, there's a reason to remember our own traumas, because it was emotional. So emotion helps us remember things. Drama, like when you can attach a strong emotion to something. Like I love drama movies. Maybe they're my favorite type of movie because I just remember them more. They're just so emotional, Anything that can get you to cry, like something powerful like that. You still sell ashwagandha root? I don't know. I don't think I might be selling something on some website or anything. You know what? I totally failed as an entrepreneur in the realm of that sort of thing. I never sold nothing. Like, I don't know. I might be selling something like that on one of my websites if it works. Good luck. Good luck if it even works. But you know what? Even if you go to one of the websites and it's selling something, even if it doesn't work, if the link is broken or something, at least you get an idea of what you should be buying from somebody else, But yeah, ashwagandha, yeah, I've heard good things about that. I've taken that on and off. It's not something I'm super huge into. And I've heard that if you take too much ashwagandha, you got to beware, because it can cause severe depression, actually. It messes around with your serotonin or something. Be careful with that one. I plan to learn to ride a plane. They make a lot of money. that um but seriously, you should go to rowanhorn.com and see what I'm selling, because even just to see, because you could, those are all very important things. I believe there's those are very healthy things there, right? So check it out. rowanhorn.com. Why not? Um you could always try to buy something and see if it works. You know, maybe it'll work. Um I plan to learn to ride a plane. They make a lot of money. That money can be used for life extension technology. You have to weigh the reasonable risks. Don't make sense to stay fearful. Okay. I plan to learn to ride a plane. Okay, well, you know what? I believe that the planes in the future are going to be so much more safe, right? I think AI is going to help make flying safe. There'll probably be a time when I would trust flying in a plane, right? I just feel like we're still in the like archaic medieval times, and there's just a bit too many plane crashes for my comfort zone, and it's just like I don't even want to I don't want to play Russian roulette where even like it's one out of a million billion, chance. I'm just neurotic like that. I'm just neurotic in general. Um Didn't they reverse aging in mice already? Did they reverse aging in mice? You know what I've heard is that activated charcoal. You want a substance that can increase your longevity? Activated charcoal. For real. Because activated charcoal, they did mouse studies and it extended the life of mice by 40%. 40%. That's more than anything else. So I'll leave you with that tip. And activated charcoal, look into that specifically for longevity, because it makes sense too, because activated charcoal absorbs toxins into itself, right? That's what people take if they get alcohol poisoning. That's what people take if they get food poisoning. So naturally, it would make sense. It's a detoxifying agent. So what's killing us? It's toxins. It's an overburden of toxins that's overburdening all our organs. So include some activated charcoal in your diet, and I think you're going to extend your life big time just from that. And recently on Instagram, I recommended cucumber asparagus juice. I think that's another huge secret, because according to Chinese medicine, they think that the kidneys are the longevity organ. Really, they really focus on kidney health for longevity. And asparagus juice and cucumber juice mixed together raw, I believe that has got to be one of the best things for kidney health. Look into that. Look into the benefits of asparagus. Asparagus is not your average vegetable. It's way better than people think. It's way more powerful than people think. I would eat it both cooked and raw. And definitely get yourself some cucumbers in your diet. And juice them for an extra potent medicinal benefit, but then also eat them sometimes too. But yeah, you're gonna just get a juicer. Everyone juice, man. Juice is so freaking incredible. Juicing. I juiced today and I felt incredible after the juice. Oh, aloe vera juice. Yeah, raw aloe vera juice. That's a big secret. Yeah, that's a big secret, because that helps rebuild your body. Sulfur, that is okay, aloe vera juice, dude, that is a huge secret, but go for the raw stuff. You know, yeah, like the stuff in the store in a bottle, is the pasteurized stuff is better than nothing, but raw, that's where it's at. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say something more about aloe vera. Aloe vera increases circulation, but in a special way. In a special way that other things don't quite cut it. Aloe vera is way better than people think, and future science and technology will verify that. Future science and medicine will show, yeah, aloe vera juice, raw aloe vera juice, there was something special about that. Mark my words. Raw aloe vera juice, raw asparagus juice, raw cucumber juice, raw vegetable juice in general, raw beet juice for that nitric oxide, helping your blood flow, opening your blood. Niacin, yes, niacin. You do a niacin flush. Learn about niacin flushing and how healthy that is. And don't forget MSM, methylsulfonylmethane. Powerful stuff. And magnesium. Yes. Okay. Oh, and here's one. Tamarind. You guys do tamarind? Tamarind? Okay, very special food. Because tamarind has this special, unique ability to, they say it decalcifies your pineal gland in your brain, your third eye. And if you decalcify your pineal gland, you're just going to get smarter across the board, and you're going to be able to become more discerning, and you're going to be more in touch with your intuition and your inner intelligence. So look into tamarind and make your own tamarind juice. That's what I've been doing. Yeah, I could show you next time. I could show you right now, but it's freaking awesome. Let me go. Hold on. I'm gonna test this feature. Watch this. I'm gonna see if I could turn off my camera for a second. Check this out. This is my tamarind juice. You see that all there? That's tamarind that's soaking in water, and it creates this delicious, tangy beverage that's filled with amazing nutrients. If you research about tamarind, it is an amazing superfood. It's underestimated. The future will show tamarind was exceptional for our health. And it decalcifies your pineal gland, so there's that. What else? How can we avoid radioactive fish that is sold from the Pacific? Oof. Oh yeah, aloe vera for your face. Yeah, aloe vera is great for skin conditions, anything. So how to avoid radioactive fish? I don't know. I was concerned about that too, the radioactivity from Fukushima getting all dumped into the ocean. I don't know. Yikesies. What, can you select fish from a different ocean? We got to find out which oceans are the least contaminated with pollutants and radiation and get fish from there. That's important. Thank you for asking that question. It's a good question. All right. I'm going to end it here. It was good talking with everyone. I'll see you guys later. Bye. I didn't know how to end it. I don't even know how to end it. My gosh. Oh, wait. I think I just clicked the send button. How do I do that? And I'll be coming back on here. I just got to figure out how to end this thing. How do I end this? Does anybody know how to end this? But save it. I want the video saved on my YouTube channel. I don't want it deleted because it's good video. Create highlight. Wow, that's cool. Retouch. Close. I probably just click the X button and it will probably just end naturally, huh? Share with your audience. Create post. I'm live. Am I still live? I'm still live. I didn't even end it. Isn't that funny? I don't even know what I'm doing. Live chat. Thank you, Ian, for showing up. Bye. I'll be back. I just didn't need to take a little break, actually. I need to, my brain's getting overworked. What's that on the TV? What's that on the TV? I know who those people are. Do you know who those people are? All right. I'll talk later. I think I just clicked the X. It'll probably just end it. Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks. Thanks for showing up. May you live forever. Don't die.